Today on News 24, a local elementary school is undergoing big changes for the future.
And the Winona 7 movie theater is shutting its doors this week. We'll tell you why. Hello and welcome to News 24. I'm Olga Lizhipakova.
And I'm Meredith Olson. Starting next fall, Jefferson Elementary will become a science, technology, engineering, and math school, or otherwise known as STEM. The STEM program is designed to teach children to be prepared for the 21st century. Subjects like social studies, language arts, and history will still be taught. Jefferson's principal, Dr. Matthew Nelson, says that they will just be taught in a different way.
And instead of giving kids the answers, we use a lot of projects, we do a lot of inquiry modeling where we might scaffold a little bit and then let the student decide how they're going to solve the problem. And they really take ownership of their learning.
The school board voted to approve the STEM school in November, allowing all students in the district to apply.
The Winona 7 movie theater is about to get some major upgrades. The local theater will be upgrading its 6 35mm projectors to digital. The theater already has 2 digital projectors used from 3D films. Winona 7 manager Jason Framstad is ready for the switch from film to digital.
A movie that's in film, the first time you show it, looks really great. 6 weeks later, it's degraded, it's been scratched, there's dirt, specks on it. Digital, first time you show it, last time you show it, looks great through the whole run, no matter how long you play it.
Winona 7 will be closed January 23rd to the 26th to install the projectors.
The Great River Shakespeare Festival held an acting training program for high school students earlier this month. Winona area students learned and memorized a scene from a Shakespearean play with direction from 5 members of the GRSF acting company. Student Drew Melius found the professional direction very helpful.
I like a lot of their styles and the way that they are teaching us, because it's not just like theoretical. It's not, I read the acting book, and then I'm going to read it out loud to you. It's, I've experienced acting and this is what works for me. Maybe it'll work for you.
The 2-week program led up to a public performance January 13th. This is the second year GRSF has been in residency in Winona area public schools.
Winona's Winter Farmers Market is in full swing, and organizers say it's already off to a great start. Larissa Olson joining us now with more on why the Farmers Market is so important to the community.
The Farmers Market is not only a great place for entertainment, it's the only place that gives you the opportunity to buy organic, meet your farmers, and keep your money local. Honey, baked goods, meat, canned and fresh vegetables are all sold in the farmers market. Farmers say they are able to sell during the winter months because they use sustainable greenhouses or grow root crops like potatoes. They say root crops store well. The acting president, Brian Krigler, says it's important to know where your food comes from.
It's because it gives people an opportunity to reconnect with their food system. It gives people an opportunity to put a face with the tomato, to talk to their farmer and understand how that tomato was grown. You know, was it grown using tons of chemicals? Was it genetically modified? Or has this farmer been saving seeds for, 100 years?
All the money the farmers make from their sales stay right here in the community.
The next Farmers Market will be held January 28th at the Winona State campus for the Frozen River Film Festival. The recent snowfalls means it's time to grab those shovels and snow blowers, and the City of Winona wants to remind everyone to clear their sidewalks. The city ordinance says you must remove snow from public sidewalks along your home within 24 hours after it has stopped snowing. If the snow is too packed to remove, you can soften it up by laying down salt or sand. The city says a sand-salt mix is available at the Central Garage on 3rd Street in downtown Winona. If you don't shovel your sidewalks, you will be billed for the city removing it, plus a $60 administrative fee.
Governor Mark Dayton says a legislative vote on a new stadium for the Minnesota Vikings is jeopardized by concerns about where to put the stadium and how to pay for it. A site was not chosen on Wednesday, but officials say 2 possible locations are Minneapolis and Arden Hills. There are concerns about both locations, but Dayton says he's remaining optimistic that the stadium issue can be quickly resolved. The legislature will meet this week, and the stadium is expected to be the big topic of discussion.
Now taking a look at the GOP race, Newt Gingrich says his victory in South Carolina's GOP primary is a surprise to elites. Gingrich soared to victory in South Carolina, outrunning Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, and Ron Paul. Instead of attacking any of his opponents, Gingrich claims President Barack Obama does not understand the American people. He says Obama has been a disaster. Gingrich claims that his own campaign is built on American exceptionalism. The candidates will square off again on January 31st in Florida's primary. Many homeless cats are now finding permanent homes with new owners. Thanks to the Humane Society, there's an adoption plan that is more affordable than ever. We'll have the details when we come back. Adopting a pet can be spendy, especially in this tough economy, but a local Humane Society has found a way to make pet adoption easier in the wallet. There are 132 cats at the Winona Humane Society today, all looking for a new home. The buddy plan introduced by the Humane Society offers adoption of 2 cats for the price of 1. The facilities manager, Joe Justman, says the buddy plan has many benefits, including the well-being of the cats.
Especially when people are looking at kittens or looking at a cat that maybe came in with another cat, we tell them, you know, you can get 2 for the price of 1 if you would like to have that. And we try to highlight the benefits of having a second cat, which include, you know, keeping each other busy, having a companion for when the people aren't home.
Dee Dee Olson, Vice President of the Winona Humane Society Board, says the economy has not affected adoption numbers as much as it affected the intake numbers.
It has affected our intake. There's a lot of people who say they can't afford their pets, or they're moving to a smaller home or into an apartment, they've lost their house. So our intake has increased.
Molly Van Norman, who recently adopted 2 kittens, says the cost reduction has really helped her to bring 2 cats under her roof instead of 1.
It was extremely helpful, especially since they come up to date on their shots. The spay neuter is included in the cost. Just looking into having 1 spayed, it's $200 at a vet. So adopting 2 for the $75 was well worth the price.
People like a bargain. So when they hear 2 for 1, they think, oh yeah, sure, I'll take 2.
Cats were adopted at the Humane Society last year, 80 of which were adopted through the buddy plan. To find out more about the Winona Area Humane Society, visit www.winonahumanesociety.org.
The Frozen River Film Festival is starting this week. Coming up next, we'll sit down with the festival's director to learn more about the event.
The annual Frozen River Film Festival is just around the corner. The festival offers a great variety of documentary films and programs that focus on educating the community on global issues. Here with me today to talk about the 2012 Frozen River Film Festival is the festival's director, Crystal Hegge. Thank you, Crystal, so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
The Frozen River Film Festival always features films that have to do with very important issues in the world. What are some of the topics of the films that will be featured this year?
Well, we have partnered with Winona State University's academic theme of home and place, so we've tried to have a lot of films that focus in on that topic. And what that means is that could be a lot of local issues, that could be a lot of global issues. One fun film that I think is going to be really great that's kind of more of a local issue is the issue of urban chickens and backyard chickens. And so we have a documentary following the progression of Madison into allowing urban chickens and backyard chickens to kind of just come into the community. And that not only, you know, brings home to home and place, it also talks a lot about, you know, organic food and you know, deals with a lot of those issues as well. So I'm really excited about Mad City Chickens. It's a really fun documentary. It's really it has a lot of roots right to the area that we live in and deals with a lot of issues both on a local and global level that I'm really excited about.
How many films are going to be featured at the festival this year?
This year we have 57 films, which is up from last year, which was 43. So we do have a lot more smaller films, shorter films, in comparison to previous years. Our adrenaline set, which is the extreme sports, base jumping and slacklining and those types of films, those we have a lot of 5 to 10 minute films where it just kind of gets to the point and you get to go on this like really quick, awesome adventure.
Great. Well, besides films, the festival also provides a variety of speakers and workshops. And could you tell us a little bit more about the speakers and workshops that we might see this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, going along with the home and place theme that we are working towards, we are dealing with an issue of carp in our waters, and so we actually have a workshop called the Edible Carp, where U.S. Fish and Wildlife expert Ed Lagasse will be coming and actually feeding carp chowder and showing what you can do with all this excessive carp that we have. So that's kind of fun and exciting. We also have Peaceful Uprising, which is a group who deals with climate change and kind of civil disobedience, worked a lot on getting the XL pipeline mitigated and just a lot of different national issues, and so they're coming to speak about what's going on with like the Bureau of Land Management, and so excited to bring those ladies from Peaceful Uprising. 3 of them are coming out from Utah to speak at the festival, so I'm really excited about that as well.
A lot of times the festival features films that are filmed in international locations. Are we going to see any fun international locations this year?
Yeah, we have a film from Armenia, which is about a sculptor who went to Armenia, a European sculptor, and actually created this beautiful piece, and so it's kind of a documentary following him and his process of creating the sculpture to integrate into the Armenian culture.
Wonderful. Could you tell us why it is important to attend, in your opinion, events such as the Frozen River Film Festival?
Well, I think like a lot of the community events that we have in Winona, it's important to go and get the feedback that from the community and just kind of all be in one environment at one time. Having this similar experience and then growing as a community individually and, just bringing a lot of energy to these topics that they otherwise wouldn't have and that you otherwise wouldn't be able to foster just sitting at home, either like, listening to music or watching a play that somebody else recorded or, seeing a film just in the privacy of your own home where you don't get that community vibe and that, excellent part of something feel.
Wonderful. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, Crystal, very much for joining us here today at News 24. The festival will run January 25th through 29th. For the festival event schedule as well as the tickets, visit www.frff.org. And it was a big weekend for the Warriors sports. The WSU men's basketball team had took home 2 wins. Ned Seams will have the breakdown coming up in sports here on News 24.
And welcome back to News 24. I'm Nate Seams, and here's a look at sports. Joe Paterno, the longtime Penn State head football coach, passed away early Sunday morning. Paterno was diagnosed with lung cancer 2 weeks ago, and the hospital confirmed the cause of death was the spreading cancer. Paterno was the Penn State football coach for 46 seasons and is the winningest coach in major college football history. The hospital said Paterno was surrounded by family members at the time of his death. Paterno was 85. And the Cow Maniacs packed the gym once again Friday night for an NSIC matchup between the Warriors and the visiting Wildcats from Wayne State. Taylor Cameron led the charge for the Warriors. He had a career-high 20 points as you see him drain that one. Xander Culver contributed 16 points for the Warriors as he was perfect 4 for 4 from shooting beyond the arc. Grant Johnson added 12 points for the Warriors as he was 6 of 8 from shooting. The Warriors went into halftime with a tie game at 26-aside, but the Warriors came out strong in the second half and never took their foot off the gas. They outscored the Wildcats 35-21 in the second half, leading them to a 61-47 victory. And the Warrior men were also in action Saturday night against the Vikings of Agastana. Grant Johnson had a career-high 20-point night to help seal an 85-79 victories for the Warrior. The men are home again this weekend for 2 conference games against Minnesota State Mankato and Southwest Minnesota State. And the Warrior women were also in action Friday night against number 10 Wayne State at McCown Gymnasium. Michelle McDonald led all scorers with 22 points, and she also grabbed 6 rebounds. Becca Friesleben had a season-high 20 points as the Warriors came up just short in their 70-64 overtime loss. McDonald had a chance at a buzzer beater in regulation, but it did not fall as it was blocked. Wayne State outscored the Warriors 11-5 in overtime. And the Warrior women took to the floor again Saturday night against Augustana, trying to rebound from the overtime loss the night before, but this time it was a last-second shot that sank the Warriors. Mariana Dulas had a career-high 18 points to lead the Warriors. Again, the Warriors will host Minnesota State Mankato and Southwest Minnesota State this weekend. And the St. Mary's men's and women's basketball teams each hosted St. Thomas this weekend. The St. Mary women got off to a slow start Saturday, scoring only 9 points in the first half. The Lady Cardinals came back strong in the second half, but came up just short, losing 49-56. It was a similar story on the men's side, where the Cardinals only managed 24 points in the second half. Michael Burfield led the way for the Cardinals with 25 points and 5 rebounds. But again, it wasn't enough as the Cardinals lost to St. Thomas 77-59. And the St. Mary's women's hockey team and men's hockey team were in action this past weekend. The men's Cardinals played host to number 12 St. Thomas. Both Friday and Saturday's games produced a 4-2 loss for the Cardinals. In each of the games, the Cardinals scored the first goal, but the Tommies were able to come back on both occasions. The Cardinals will look to rebound this weekend when they face off against Augsburg. And the women also took to the ice again against the Tommies this past weekend. Dana Cruiser scored with just over 2 minutes to play in the third period to tie the game. However, the Tommies went on to win in overtime. And again, the Lady Cardinals are right back at it the next night. The Tommies again had the Cardinals' number as they skated to a 3-1 victory. Aaron Stenseth had the only goal for the Cardinals. The Cardinals will be back in action this weekend against Augsburg. And coming up, the cold winter has finally arrived in Winona, and lots are staying warm by celebrating Hot Tea Month. When we come back, we'll tell you some of the health benefits of the drinks.
Cold winters are here in Winona, and many people are trying to stay warm.
One way is to drink hot tea. Rebecca Courier has a story.
January is hot tea month, so it is a perfect time for people to try new types of tea. Winona's Mandala Center for Wellness co-founder Garrett Sorensen says there's a vast world of tea that people can explore.
It all comes from one plant, and so you from that one plant you get white, green, yellow tea, oolong, black, and pu'er tea, and so there's just it's a whole world to explore.
Mandala Center of Wellness co-founder Sarah Crawford says tea is an easy way to stay healthy.
It's healthful in so many ways and balancing in so many ways that everyone can kind of personalize it to their own lifestyle, to their own tastes and flavors.
A few of the health benefits include improved metabolism, decreased anxiety, and improved dental health. Garrett says that tea can even be better than water.
Because of the electrolyte balancing qualities within tea, you get a beverage that is more hydrating than plain water.
Brewing tea can be a very easy process. Garrett says everyone can find their own cup of tea.
I encourage people to experiment and try different ways of preparing their tea, different amounts of leaf, different temperature water, and different steeping times, and to really play around with their tea and see what it is that makes it work for them.
In Winona, Rebecca Courier, News 24.
Mandala also recommends using tea leaves instead of bags because they have more flavor and last longer.
Well, tea's not a very popular drink here in the United States, but it makes a huge country in Europe, doesn't it? You've been to London, right?
Yes, in London, tea all the time, and I feel like we get too fancy here, you know, but over there it's just milk or a little sugar.
The everyday drink. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on News 24. Have a good week.